So you want to know more about Xuan. Is it because you're into small characters, or is it because you are desperate for a tank? Whatever the reason is, welcome to Xuan in a nutshell, where I break down the ins and outs of a character. Today, I'll be talking about Xuan, the Master Diviner. I'll be discussing her skills, her best relics, strongest Lightcones, and finally her favorite teammates. With all that said, let's begin with this video. Xuan is a quantum preservation character who specializes in soaking damage for her team. Her skill, known by stars shown by hearts, is the main selling point of Xuan and is what sets her apart from the other preservation characters. She activates the Matrix of Prescience, apportioning a percentage of damage her teammates receive to Xuan herself. Now, while this matrix is active, her allies will also gain HP based on Xuan's max HP and gain crit rate based on the skills level. Now, this will be the main reason why you'll be rolling for Xuan. So if you really need a tank who can soak tons of damage and you don't have Japart, you can consider rolling for Xuan. Her ultimate, Vows of Many Morphed to 1, deals quantum damage based on Xuan's max HP to all enemies. And it also triggers 1 count of the HP restore of her talent, which we will be discussing later. This all is very simple and a really good way for Xuan to sustain in a fight. Her talent, Bleak Breeds Bliss, heals Xuan whenever her HP falls below 50% if she has 1 count of the talent, which you can gain from her ultimate. While Xuan has not been knocked down, her allies will also take lesser damage overall. Now, this talent provides extra utility for her team and also helps Xuan survive a little longer in the fight. Lastly, her technique of Fortune Comes Fate activates a barrier preventing enemies' attacks and activates the Matrix at the start of combat for 2 turns. This is a great way to cheat out the Matrix before Xuan's turn, just in case you need to start directing damage to Xuan from your teammates. As you can see from her kit, Xuan provides tons of defense and decent amount of utility for her team. As she will be inevitably taking damage, we want to focus more on her defensive stats. As such, we want to focus on HP and defense reduction. It's very important that we get defense reduction as well as energy regeneration rate. You can also build defense, however, defense is not as good as HP because we'll be soaking damage instead of receiving it instead. At the moment, Xuan doesn't have a great 4-piece basket slot for her relics. Because of this, we'll be mix and matching 2-piece sets instead. The first 2-piece set I would recommend is the Longevous Disciple, which increases her max HP by 12%. By the way, this is the only set which increases HP, so I highly recommend prioritizing this set as the first set you'll be running. The second set I want to talk about is the 2-piece Guard of Wuthering Snow, which reduces damage taken by Xuan. Because of Xuan's unique kit, this 2-piece set is actually really strong for her, and it turns the artifact from one of the most useless sets in the game to one of the best, especially for Xuan. The third set you can consider is the 2-piece Messenger Traversing Hackerspace, which increases Xuan's speed. Xuan doesn't really need to spam her skill, so you can use this instead to generate skill points for characters that want to use a lot of skill points, something like Imbibitor Lunae. And the last set you can consider is a 2-piece Genius of Brilliant Stars, which increases Xuan's quantum damage. Now, you don't really need too much damage for Xuan, but let's say you just want to go a nuke build, you can consider this set. But once again, I recommend the first 2 sets I've talked about, which is the 2-piece Longevous Disciple and the 2-piece Guard of Wuthering Snow. For ornaments, the only good set for Xuan is the Fleet of Ageless, which increases her max HP and increases her attack if she managed to hit 120 speed, which is not too difficult. So this is the only set you should be getting of Xuan. I do not recommend anything else at the moment. For main stats, you want to choose the relevant stats for each piece. For the chest piece, you want to go for HP percent. For the feet, you either go HP percent or speed. So like I said, from the ornaments, if you want to hit 120 speed and you need a little bit more speed, you can consider running speed for the feet. For the spear, you can go HP percent or quantum damage if you're feeling a bit spicy. And lastly, for the link rope, I highly recommend HP percent or energy regeneration rate. For substats, focus on HP, speed until you hit 120, energy regeneration rate, and effect rest in that order. For Lightcones, her best in slot is obviously her signature Lightcone. She already shut her eyes, which increases Xuan's max HP and energy regeneration rate. On top of that, whenever Xuan loses HP, her allies will deal increased damage. Now, this is really good because even if your Xuan is dying, your allies will be doing a lot of damage. And lastly, at the beginning of each wave of enemies, she will restore HP to herself, which overall just gives her a lot of value and a lot of stats to Xuan and her teammates as well. Other 5-star Lightcones you can consider is the 5-star Lightcone from her shop, Texture of Memories, which is also decent as it gives her a shield whenever she attacks every 3 turns. Japart's signature Lightcone, which you can get from the standard banner. Moment of Victory is also not bad as it buffs Xuan's defense and effect hit rate, as well as increasing the chances of enemies attacking Xuan instead instead of her allies. Overall, this not only benefits Fu Xuan, it also benefits her teammates because they're not taking damage and Fu Xuan will be taking the damage instead. For 4-star options, Landao's Choice is a fantastic option as it not only increases the chance of enemies attacking Fu Xuan, you also reduce the damage taken by these attacks, which is what Fu Xuan wants, so similar to Moment of Victory. Day 1 of My New Life is also decent as it increases Fu Xuan's defense and increases allies' damage resistance, which will overall just buff Fu Xuan's survivability in the long run. Lastly, We Are Wildfire is also not bad as it decreases damage dealt to your teammate, which once again overall just buffs Fu Xuan's survivability. Finally, for 3-star options, so if you don't have any of the 4-star Lightcones, which is very hard to believe, the only good one is defense because this basically heals Fu Xuan whenever she uses her ult. However, like I said, try your best to run a 5-star or 4-star option because this 3-star option is not that great. You're losing out on the stats itself, so just try your best to run a 4-star option, please. Do not run this. Use this as a super last resort. And lastly, for teammates, well, basically you can just slot Fu Xuan in any team. Just make sure you have an abundance character because she has no reliable way of healing her teammates. She can only really sustain herself. Notably, you can pair her with hunt characters who don't want to be targeted, and even if they do, they won't die so easily. And you can also pair her with nihility characters who want to slowly wither down the opponent throughout the fight. And with all that said, the main reason you'll be pulling for Fu Xuan is her skill. So if you feel like you need a little bit more survivability and do not want to be bursted down in the fight, you can consider pulling for Fu Xuan. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please do give a like. It shows me I should be doing more. Comment down below whether you'll be rolling for Fu Xuan or saving for future characters. And lastly, do subscribe. We'll be doing more videos like this in the future. And with that, I will be seeing you guys next time. Peace.